Morning. How are ya? You alright? I've just had a bit of a... There we go. Me tripod's collapsing. As I was pressing start, I was going, there it goes again, look. I'm having a nightmare. I'll just sort my tripod out, folks, and I'll be with you. Right, there we go. Let's try that. How's that? Looks like it's staying still. Right, good morning. Welcome. How the devil are you? Today is Monday. It's the last day of January. It's the 31st of January 2021, and this is your 8 a.m. movement snack. It's our circulation boosting and mobilising, getting us ready for the day ahead. I'm just going to pop another light on. Be with you in a sec. There we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? We can see. Got my cup of tea. Got myself ready. Race out the door. As soon as we're done, we're ready to hit the road. Right, who we got? We've got Vivian by the looks of it, and we've got Mrs. P here, Christine. Inwards, how are things with you? Vivian, if my memory serves right, Bolton, Port Talbot for Christine. So how are things? How's everything going with everybody? George is here as well. Good morning, George. Another wet and windy day, or a windy day for you, Christine. Storm abating. It was a bit windy in the night, wasn't it? And I know it's supposed to be worse further north. So hopefully you didn't get too much of a battering, George and Vivian and anybody up that way. Hopefully it wasn't too bad for you. I could hear it howling in the night a couple of times that I woke up. It's a windy one out there still at the moment. So hopefully not too many trees down on my way to work. We shall see. We shall see. There's one little patch I go through that's quite treey. We shall see, shall we? Okay, who else have we got coming on board? I can see we've got Maya as well. So good morning, Maya. And I think, is that Margaret who's just popped up as well? The icon at the top. Look, I'm to look down my glasses. This is me nearsighted bit. So, feel as I'm looking down my nose here. I'm not, honestly. Good morning to you all. Welcome along. It is Monday. It's the 31st of January 2022. It is the end of January. Heading into February. Daffodils will be out soon. It was Margaret. Thank you. I thought it was. Good morning to you, Margaret. Welcome along. Right. As always, I don't have to be clocked because things they've changed. So let's have a look, see where we are. We've got a minute to go. Let's put me do not disturb on as well while I'm here, so we don't get a pingy going as we talk away. Vivian Dickinson is in. Good morning, Dave and everyone. Heavy rain and strong winds all night. Wind still blowing, but rain stopped now. Yeah, we've had rain overnight. We've had winds overnight. The wind is still going. Rain has stopped here as well. Francis McFarlane, good morning to you down in Bristol. George, if you would kindly be my time person and give me my 3, 2, 1, that would be wonderful. I think we needed that. Oh, there you go. Look, see? That's cup of tea. As I say it, he pops up. Sheila Day, good morning to you. Good to have you with us. Andy's with us as well today. And we'll see where we go from there with the collective. Right, pop that off the screen. Good morning, everybody. It's a 3, 2, 1 time. So, boop. Good morning, everybody. Welcome along. You're with Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. Today is Monday. It's the 31st of January 2022. And this is your 8 a.m. movement stack. First chance to start adding those extra minutes into our day. It's about boosting our circulation. It's about getting us mobile for the day ahead, getting us mobilised and decrumpled. That's the word we use, isn't it? Right. Standing or seated, choice is yours. You decide. In our standing position, we've got fixed external support available to us. In our seated position, we've got a good, strong, sturdy chair. Nothing on the floor that's going to cause us any issues. Now, I've got my socks on. I've reneged, put my trainers on, although I've got to run out the door straps. I'll pop them on as soon as I'm finished. I've got my socks on so I can engage with the floor. Now, if we're on a carpeted floor, that's fine. But if we're on a hard floor, we want sensible, comfortable footwear. Let's line everything up then. So heels in line with knees in line with hips. Lift and lengthen out to grow a little bit taller from your hips. Bringing the shoulders up, taking them back and pressing them down. We've opened the rib cage. We've allowed more expanse of those lungs. Seated wise, We do all that alignment, but before we do any of that, we need to bring ourselves away from the back of the chair. Lifting ourselves away means we're supporting the body, switched on. It's a lift and a shift from there to bring ourselves into the front third of the chair. And then once we're sat here again, we line everything up, lifting and lengthening, and starting with our circulation boosting. Our circulation boosting, as always, starts with a raise of those heels off the floor, coming up onto the balls of the foot, creating that crease between your balls and your toes. Balls of your foot and toes. And keeping this moving. In standing, exactly the same, using your support if you need it, remembering that we can take it larger, and we do take things larger rather than faster to make the increase in the intensity. Now, seated wise and standing, you're lifting the foot clear of the floor slightly, enough to get the toes pointing down. Seated, if we start to feel fatigue, remember our prompts wise, we've got the ability to come back in here to these heel raises. Or how about a diagonal toe tap forward? Just tapping that toe and bringing it back in. Choice is yours. Popping an arm in, driving the elbow backwards, going to standing for this, driving the elbow backwards. So we've got this driven, controlled movement. We're not just allowing the arm to swing. Now, in seated and in standing, if we're not using support, we can just change our hand to the other side. However, if we are using support, we need to think about it. If it's in front, hand comes down, other hand comes off. If it's to the side, then lose the arm totally. Make the march a little bit smaller, turn in towards your support, as many steps as you need, both hands on so you turn to the side, and then you can bring that march back in on the other side. And then finally, in standing and in seated, if you're not using support in standing, both arms, both legs, if you so desire. Bigger movement here now because more of the body is moving, and that's what it's all about. It's about getting this body moving. And this is going to increase the intensity. It's going to ask the heart to beat a little bit faster. We're going to breathe a little bit heavier, and that's exactly what we want. That is going to give us our boost in circulation. With that boosted circulation, it's getting the oxygen in the blood around to where we want it, to the muscles, to feed them, to give them the energy. We're warming the joints as well, and we're starting to mobilise those joints. Now, 2 minutes, 3 max, we start to bring things down. So let's lose the arms firstly. Bring it back down into a foot pedal and then come to a pause, at which point we should feel as though we want to take a couple of deep breaths. Okay, let's move into our top trio. Excuse me, I thought I was going to sneeze then. Oh, it's gone. You get that feeling. Oh, it's horrible. So, position-wise, heels in line with knees, knees in line with hips, lift and lengthen. We start with the top trio, head and shoulders. So first movement, shoulders towards the ears and then press them back down. Lifting towards our ears and then pressing back down. Trying to get the range of motion as big as we can. So trying to emphasize and get that full range of motion into our shoulders. Remember, our neck stays long. We don't bring the neck down. We keep the lengthened neck and we take the shoulders up and then we press them back down. Now, once we've done 4 or 5 of those, take a momentary pause and let's bring it into our shoulder rolls. So with our shoulder rolls, we draw the shoulders forward firstly, up towards our ears, back past the earlobe, shoulder blades together, and then press back down. And again, it's slow and controlled. Here, by keeping it slow and controlled, we can make sure that we get every part of that shoulder joint moving, and we try and get that best range of motion rather than it just being a fast roll back of those shoulders. Once you've done 4 or 5 on those as well, remembering that anything where we take the arms away from the body, shoulders are involved, and we may have a bit of not abnormality, we may have a bit of a difference as far as our shoulders are concerned. So we might have more mobility in one shoulder than the other. If we do, there's an ideal thing to work on. Right, we're moving into our head. So, same basis support, we might want to take it a little bit wider actually. Bring it out the side of your hips so it's in line with your shoulders. Knees soften, have support available in case you need it. The head turns to the side. Pause in the centre, to the other way. Now, eye line is staying level. And we're taking this as far as we can, but no pain. Unless we have pain already, in which case, no more pain. You want 4 or 5 on each side. And control the movement. It's not a fast movement. Pause in the centre gives the head and the ears and the system in our ears the opportunity to sort itself out, to stabilise itself, so hopefully we don't feel any disorientation. But that's why we've got support there in case you do. Exactly the same in seated as well. Once we've done our 4 or 5 on each side, thinking about crossing the road, talking to friends, picking something up by the side of us, all those sorts of things. The head turns continually during the day, doesn't it? Right, so let me sit myself down, let me kneel myself down here. Ooh, here we come. We're going into the back of the head, this part here, all right? So chin is going to stay level, eyeline is going to stay level, we're going to give ourselves another chin. Fingers on the chin, back and forward. Now, although I've got the fingers on the chin, I'm not pressing, they're a guide. I can leave them where they are and just come away and bring them back forward. So it's like my starting and ending position. From the front, we don't see a great deal happening, but what we're doing is we're stacking that head back onto the top of the spine. We're lining everything up. We're getting good alignment down through the body. And we're working on our centre of balance. Excuse me. 4 or 5 of those. Make them count, quality, keep the eyeline level, don't race them. And once you've done your 4 or 5, let's go back into a circulation booster. It's legs only this time. So support if you need it. There, use that. Remembering in seated that if you prefer, you've got these heel raises or you've got these toe taps. Or you can come with the march. 30 seconds is what we're looking at. And this is really just to give that little bit of extra boost. So we're not boosting it all over again. It's come down a little bit while we focused on our mobility. Now we're giving it a little oofty to get it back up again, a little oomph to get it back up. Once you've done your 30 seconds, come to a pause. Let's go back into a good base of support. Heels outside of our hips in line with our shoulders. It's our side bend. Straight down, straight up. If we're using support, change your hand every time and then down to the other side. If it's to the side of you, you come into your support, pause, and then back into your support. You're 4 or 5 on that side, and then you turn to change. If you're in seated, then the bottom stays firmly on the chair. So, bum stays firmly down on the chair, we come straight down and straight up, and that's important. Not forward or backwards, just straight down. Now, if you're in seated and standing's on your radar, let's get into this position of getting our feet out in line with our shoulders. So we've got that base of support we're working on as far as our lower body is concerned as well. Once you've done your 4 or 5 on each side, take a pause. We're heading into these trunk turns, these trunk twists. So in seated, bottom stays firmly on the chair. We rotate, keeping the elbows in line with our shoulders as well, so we focus all of this movement into here. Now as I rotate, the bottom is staying firmly on the chair. As I stand, my hips stay still, so have a look. Here, elbows in line with shoulders, I'll try and get my hands out of the way. We turn. Hips stay where they are, look. Back into the centre, and then the other way. Support in front, change hand to the side, 4 or 5 on one side, and then change. However, how about this? You could put your bum or your hips on your support, and then you've got the same thing as the chair. As you turn, if you feel the bottom lifting, or you feel your hips lifting away, this is telling you you've got some movement in those hips. We want to try and isolate that as much as we can so all of the movement happens here. Rolling over in bed. Getting in and out of your car, you've got to turn to get in and out of it, haven't you? Putting your seatbelt on. Getting dressed sometimes where we reach behind. All those sorts of movements is what that's involved with. 4 or 5 quality ones on each side and try and really just isolate it into this area. We use our trunk so much. Once we've done the 4 or 5, let's take a pause and we're heading into our back extension. Now here, support by the side if you need it. And we'll have a look at it in standing and seated. We'll look at standing first. Eyeline is going to stay level again, so we're going to give ourselves another double chin. Doesn't matter. But the movement is trying to keep these pelvis and these hips still. So we lift the chest and then we extend backwards, trying to keep that pelvis still. Coming back in and releasing. So again, we could use our support as a reference point to tell us, because we'll feel how the bottom interacts with that, whether we've got movement. In seated, it's exactly the same again. So in seated, the bum stays firmly on the chair, and as I extend back, if I can feel that movement, that pressure, that weight bearing changing through where my bottom is on the chair, then I know that I've got movement within my pelvis, and we don't want that. We want to try and keep this movement lifted. So remember, it's a lift of the chest and then an extension. We're not leaning back, okay? We're really focusing on keeping these pelvis still lifting that chest and then extending backwards, and we'll feel this down into our lower back. Now, anybody who has lower back pain, if you have lower back pain, you will really going to appreciate that movement and feel really nice at loosening that back off for you. Once you've done 4 or 5 of those, it's back into another circulation booster. It's arms this time. So just one arm if you want to, or both arms together. If you support, you might want to put yourself against it again so you can get both arms going, or you might feel confident with just the arms moving to have the feet flat on the floor, good base support, and just the arms going. We can make it a little bit bigger. We can start to put some rotation in through the shoulders. Look, so can you see how the chest is starting to rotate a little bit there as well? So as I come back, I've got some movement through that chest and again down through the trunk a little way. 30 seconds, bring it to a pause, head on down. It's ankle, feet and toe time. It's time to get those toes a tapping. Right, have some support in the standing. Sorry, I don't know why I just drifted off then. Have some support available to your side, because it's not about balancing, it's about getting this best range of motion out of this ankle joint. Foot that's closer to your support stays on the floor flat, knee stays softened. Other foot comes in next to it. Eventually we're going to take our eye line to the front, but we can look to start off with a toe point and a heel into exactly the same place. Now when your heel's down, splay your toes. As you come on up, scrunch your toes and then point them down at the floor. 4 or 5 on one side, and then we change to the other. Seated. We can do that exact movement. Adjust your legs a little bit so you've got the room to fit it in. So we're not making it difficult for ourselves. And again, the point and the flex and the splay and the scrunch. However, you may want to take a little walk backwards in your chair. Extend the leg away in front. There's your point with the toes scrunched. And here's your foot in with the heel coming onto the floor, not actually touching it, but the same equivalent where you're bringing the toes in towards the shin. And that's where you display it. So you point and you flex. Now here, I say this isn't about balance. This isn't about strength, so keep the foot low. And if you need to take a rest after every one or every couple, do. Set it up where you go. It's about getting that movement. And likewise, don't allow this leg to drift up. Now, once you've done 4 or 5 on each side in standing, if you want to take this into this walk through, this movement here where we're stepping forward onto the ball of the foot, on the back, so we strike the heel, we roll through onto the ball of the foot to bring it flat, and at the back we're lifting that heel off, coming onto the ball of the foot and the toes, and that is our walk. There we go, that is your 8 AM movement snack for this Monday, the 31st of January 2021. Have a great day everybody, stay mobile, stay active, stay safe with that wind and rain that's out there as well. And I'll see you tomorrow morning bright and breezy. Oh, don't forget to crowbar a few extras in as well, yeah? Toodles.